What up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is March the 8th, Sunday, and it is time for Sunday Night Live. So here we are. Here we are once again. How is everybody doing? Hope everybody's staying dry. It's been a little rainy here, but good news is it's shorts time again, baby. Got my short britches on, got my legs hanging out, so yeah, we done hit the 80s here in Bama. It's been pretty nice. Been doing some yard work. Yard's starting to look very green. For those of you who are unfortunately stuck up in the Great White North, it's starting to look a little green around here. Yeah. So it won't be long. Been doing some yard work past couple of days, getting the old robot lawn mowers all trained up and ready to go. And that's about it. So what y'all got going on? How about you over there, Steve?
Trying to figure out why I'm looking like a potato.
I thought maybe you just had maybe your IT guy was from was it Detroit or Chicago? Chicago, that's where it's from. Chicago. I thought maybe you and Rick was using the same IT guy.
I hope not. I don't know. Maybe it's warm here and all the water is getting into the internet lines,
Yeah, I don't know. It may just be on my end. I don't know. Is anybody else?
No, I'm seeing the preview in YouTube Studio is a little janky. So.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, does anybody else notice that Steve looks like an episode of what was it? Max Headroom back in the day. Maybe a little. What was that? What's that game? The mining game? Minecraft. It looked like a Minecraft character. Well, but how's everybody else going? Let's see what we got talking about over here in the comment section while you play around with that. See if anybody's got anything good, any questions or anything so far. What's up, everybody? Yep.
I'm gonna disappear for a second.
All right. Steve is going to be away for a short intermission while he tries to diagnose his obvious video issues. Not sure exactly what the cause of this is, but I can still hear him. I just can't see him.
I can still hear you too.
Woo.
Come on.
What's up, Cody? Cody in the house with the Genie bits. I know Cody is working on releasing that 1/8" bit set where you'll have all kinds of different 1/8" bits. He just recently released the 1/8" O flute. So if you're doing acrylics and metals, it's a good bit for that. Yeah, EMT. I would think that's what the deal is with it as well. The only thing is the audio seems to be paired up pretty well, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's maybe it's not a camera video related issue. I don't know. That other camera was definitely clearer when you was looking at your hat.
I think it was a Streamlabs issue.
I don't know. It's still you kind of cleared up for a second there, but yeah, you're back to Mr. Potato Head now.
Okay. Hold on, intermission.
See that camera there, actually, it looks a little grainy still too. Not bad, not as bad as the other one. I don't know. Let's see what we got here. Tim said he had a heck of a time getting his mower to connect to his Bluetooth. I haven't had that problem, depending on which mower you're referring to. I got two of them now. I've got the Mimotion Luba 3 all-wheel drive that I just got that I've been using for about a month or so. But most of they sent it to me, want me to do a video with it, and then they sent me an email. I was like, "Hey, when are you going to do the video?" I'm like, "When I get grass." It's a lawnmower. It's going to be kind of a boring video with it just riding around out here in my, winter non-grass looking yard. Now I have been taking advantage of not having grass and map everything and set up my no-go zones and test it in different terrain and stuff like that. So I've been using it, but as far as like a video goes, I feel like they would probably want to see it cutting grass in the video. So yeah, you're gonna need to hire an IT guy. I mean, I don't work cheap. I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm trying to do this without rebooting.
I don't work cheap, but I'm going to tell you, you look as though you still need some assistance with your.
All right. I need to like actually back out and come back to this one. So I will be back in.
Okay. All right. Hey, it's fine. I'm going to give you a hard time though if you let this beat you. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
So, well, while Steve tries to conquer his computer problems, we'll just keep talking. TRS DOS 1 says, "Hi from Geronimo, Oklahoma. My first laser, X-Tool S110 watt. I now make life-size wood nickels. Can a 40 watt do the same detail?" The same detail? Probably not. The dot size is bigger. But now keep in mind, when it comes to the dot size of a laser on wood, you're not going to notice that much difference. I mean, I've got 10 watts. I've had 100 watt machines. On wood, on like organic wood, you're going to have a hard time noticing the difference between a 10 and a 40 watt because the molecular structure, the cellular structure of that wood is not to where it can really receive really fine engraving. Now, if you're doing anodized materials like business cards and stuff like that, that's when you can actually your eye will be able to detect a little bit of difference, but it's not a lot. Like it is nowhere near what some people make it out to be. Hang on, I got one I just did the other day. Well, I took it in the house, didn't I? But I did one the other day on 48 watt. What did I do with that? I thought I kept it. But yeah, you're not going to be able to notice that much of a difference between the 10 and the 40. Luckily, though, with the S1, if you get the 40 watt module, you can swap them in and out. That's the cool thing about the S1 is you can swap the module out. But on wood, the 40 watt has plenty of detail to do pictures that you're going to be happy with. Is there going to be a slight difference depending on the photo, how well it's processed and all that? Yeah, it could be, but it's not going to be one that you're going to be able to notice unless you legitimately put them side by side. You like if I showed you one and then showed you the other, you're probably not going to be able to detect the difference in the two. Only when they're side by side might you be able to detect the difference. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, Radu. Only if he had a decent IT guy. Obviously, he does it. Oh. Jeffrey says, I always have questions, but the text window is just too small. Yeah, we can't help that. It won't let me make that any bigger. We throw them up on the screen, but now if you're watching on YouTube, you have the live chat window, and I think you can, if you have multiple monitors, you can actually make that bigger. But yeah, we can't really change a whole lot of the comments. So let's see here what we got. Sup, Duck Wood, or yeah, Duck Wood, yeah. Yeah, Chris, I just realized that the chat layover wasn't turned on, but it was when I was giving Steve a hard time before the chat. Got a little distracted. Yep, there. Kevin Rich said Jenny bits are awesome there. Got the Jenny bits going. Let's see what we got. Trying to. Oh, there he is. Tim said he got the A3000 LiDAR. Yeah, I got the goat does a really good job. I used it all year last year, and that thing was a real like lifesaver as far as cutting grass goes. Y'all know I live on basically a big ancient sand dune, and so my property is got a lot of hills and stuff. The goat does have a bit of trouble on a couple of the hills. And so when they mentioned for me my motion said they wanted to send me out theirs, I was like, heck yeah, send it to me. Because now what I'm doing is I've got areas that are, kind of tight and it needs that zero turn effect that the goat has. I let the goat keep that maintained right currently. And then I've got the motion doing the heels and stuff like that. So that instead of taking a couple of days to get, the grass cut, I can do it now in a day. And one thing that I will say about the motion, last night I walked outside going back into the house at like 9 o'clock and the lawnmower was down in the front yard just mowing away. So let's see. Hey, look at there. Hey, there you go.
I figured it out.
Audio's a little louder than it was. Let me see if it's on my end. It may be on my end. Okay, yeah, I think it was on my end. What'd you have going on since you've diagnosed the issue?
It was saturating the upload with something.
Yep, that's what happens.
Whoopsie.
Oh, you had it go into the computer?
No, there's a mode on there where you can sync files to the cloud.
Oh.
And when I plugged in to charge it, it goes, oh, okay, I'm plugged in, so I can sync to the cloud now. I'm like, what? Yeah. I looked at my bandwidth and going, whoa, we're pegged at like 40 up. That's not good because, some of us don't have the fancy fiber you got.
What? I've only got like 900 and something. Oh, that's all. I actually have considered for $20 more, I can get 2 gigs. And I had considered doing it, but I was like, why do I want to spend the $20? Because right now, I mean, it's literally me, Brandy, and Emily here. Emily might be doing some gaming from time to time, which doesn't take a whole lot of bandwidth. But yeah, I just can't make myself do it. I can't make myself justify it.
Well, I have a gig down, but the upload is throttled, and I could change providers and get 1 or 2 gig, but other than stupid cases like this. My current stuff works okay, so I was like, but anyway, got it figured out.
See, there it is. I got 904 down and 946 up currently. So yeah, whoop whoop, boom, and that's out here in the shop, and my actual connections over in the house. But luckily, when I was putting in the water line, you remember that time that tree accidentally died? I was putting my water line in out here to the shop, and I did drop 2 runs of direct burial double shielded Cat 6 cable in the hole with the water pipe.
Well, yeah, I have actually 2, although I think they're only Cat 5E. Because this was gosh, this would have been almost 18 years ago when I was building this. And so I had a low voltage friend who he's like, hey, I had a job that we didn't use all the wire. I think it'll be perfect to, as we were building the shop, he's like, you're dropping the electrical in from your house. Let's drop in some data too. So I dropped 2 lines in conduit from the house out here. So that, yeah, I've got a solid wired connection.
Something's getting on it again, though. You've turned back to Minecraft Steve.
Dang it.
All right. I'm telling you what, I can't have nothing. All right, let me get on these questions. Don says, hey guys, after watching both of your videos, I got a Genmitsu 4040 Pro Max. Also, was wondering if engraves you guys did on the Alien and Bigfoot can be done on easel. I'm a complete noob to CNCs. You can do very similar with easel. They have a lot of like stock files and stuff like that you can go, because I've did a couple of Honeybee 3D files and stuff like that. But yeah, you can do similar. I haven't used easel in a while. I think Steve's easel experience is probably more recent than mine. But when I was using easel, I did a few like of their stock photos and stuff, 3D files. So you can. I'm not real sure the steps, because like I said, it's been a while since I did any of that.
All right, so the camera tried to turn back on and start uploading, so hopefully this will clear up here.
You pull the battery out of that thing until the live.
I'm about to. So I think I think I haven't done the 3D engraves with easel, but I'm pretty sure you need the pro version to do that. But I haven't looked at the steps to do it. So that'd be something to look into.
Yeah. Yep. Somebody, I see Big Heart says he pulled a Venturi, went to Vegas to the APA Expo, and came home North Alabama sick.
It happens.
Yeah. Yep. He does it a lot.
Well, I mean, 2 years in a row.
EMT Dave says, I got the RA3 this past week. It installs pretty easily into my P2S. Now checking out what it can do. Yeah, I'm supposed to be getting the RA3 kit for my OG P2, because I don't have the P2S or the P3. But I've got my P2 back up here, and I've been using it because y'all know I have been hunting for a really good, consistent tumbler machine to use for quite a while. I was using my S1, but I wanted to go CO2 for tumblers because it is much, much more effective and efficient. So I've went through every CO2 machine that I had in the shop, and I've come full circle back to the P2. The thing that I didn't like about the P2 before was that weird thing to where you had to put your tumbler under the red dot. You had to make sure it was at the highest point and all this jazz. Well, since the last time I used my P2 to try to do tumblers, because I got frustrated with it, it was just too much headache setting it up, and I tossed it to the side. Well, since then, they have came out with the RA2 accessory kit, which allows you to be able to set the tilt on the RA2. And so I've revisited it, and I am happy to report that I have got it to where I could do 100 tumblers tomorrow on this P2, and every one of them would be exactly the way I wanted them to be. My only complaint right now is it will not let me frame. So I had to create a file basically that has a frame built into it, so I know exactly where the tumbler sits, which it's not that big of a deal. If I'm doing 100 of them, that's a little bit of setup, but it's not that bad. But I'll show you my little setup. I have created a new Clack Shack device that improves the performance of rotaries, chuck rotaries, drastically. And so I've built that, and this is it. It is a 3D printed part that I designed that it's got a slot in there, and it's got 2 rubber O-rings that go in there. There's the hole here for the screw, and this screws onto the chuck, and I'll show you what it looks like installed. So there's what it looks like installed. And so what happens is those little teeth kind of act like the ones on the RA3, and they go inside the tumbler. And so as you instead of going on the outside and squeezing, you go on the inside and push outward. And the rubber O-rings in there actually like provide a little bit of friction. Plus you have the shoulder that's just thick enough to where you can shoulder the tumbler up against this back edge right here, but it's not enough that it sticks up above the tumbler so that the module, or in this case, the nozzle doesn't strike it. So, because that was a problem I had this morning. I had everything set up with my little jig panel in there, because I also have a jig panel that I have built that goes in the crumb tray and keeps the RA2 from moving. So like I can go in here and if I want to put another tumbler on there, I don't have to worry about anything moving. Like I just put the tumbler in here and basically rotate that to get it to press out into the tumbler, and I'm good. And I could literally, and I can turn them right here. I could do 100 of those, and I don't have to worry about it moving because all of this is solid. You can see it. It doesn't, like, it ain't going nowhere. So this is definitely improved. This is now, I would say, 100% repeatable. These hold up really well. I've been running it, doing some testing and stuff. And with these on the chuck, it performs so much better than what it did with the little plastic L brackets that they come with. So now, as with everything, there were challenges. These are prototypes. I wound up going through 3 iterations of them. This was the first iteration, which didn't have the shoulder. It had 2 separate lines for the O-rings, and it didn't have the shoulder. These kind of sort of worked, but the tumbler would move, and it just wasn't 100% dependable. This was my second iteration of it. I did a bigger area for O-rings. I put more O-rings on there, and I added the shoulder, but the shoulder wasn't quite big enough, and I didn't like the way the O-rings came all the way out to the edge of the piece. And so my third one made the shoulder taller, thicker, and brought the O-rings back from the inside. And so you literally just take the screws that hold those little L brackets and use one screw to hold this onto the chuck, and you're good to go. So, and it works with the RA2, the Atom Stack, like all the good chucks. All the chucks that I use so far, it'll work with them. So really, really happy about that file design. It took a lot of, trying it and then throwing it to the side, trying it and throwing it to the side. But I did this is the last little test burn. I've just been doing test burns on top of test burns on this thing. But I've got it set up, ready to go tomorrow morning, I hope, to burn a couple more tumblers and do some more testing just to confirm. And then I'm going to do a video on the setup and the process and everything. And hopefully I can put these little guys, like I said, moving forward, I know I've got Klein and Billy both have Atom Stack chucks that they're using, which with those lasers, you typically don't have that problem because the beam is so much higher than the claws. But the problem with the P2 is you only got about that much clearance with the P2. And so he was hitting the part of the chuck. And so I had to figure out a way to fix it to where it didn't do that. So, yeah, I would show y'all the video, but I haven't transferred it over to my computer yet. Because I was sitting here, I had to stop it because it was like bam, bam, bam. My tumbler was just sitting there. It was crazy. Whew. It's like you got your issues resolved.
Hope so. And adjust the lights too. They were off.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gremlins today.
Well, it happens. It happens.
Yeah, I spent the week with mostly just when I was out here in the shop playing with this SaintSmart 2x2 CNC machine, doing some stuff. Of course, been posting some short videos and some Facebook teasers on things. The most impressive thing being the Sasquatch one. See if I can get the light to hit it. There we go. But this was not quite a 2-inch thick slab of walnut, and the slab had some imperfections in it, so I was able to cut out this chunk. It was about 14 inches square, and flatten it out, and then ran the 1/4-inch downtown Jenny to do kind of the rough in passes, and then the 16th inch tapered ball nose, the Slim Jenny, to do the finish pass on it. Now, those took a while. So there's about 8 hours into this thing of machine time. I didn't necessarily optimize it because I'm still playing around figuring out the machine, but it came out very well. I was very happy with it. Yeah, there's a short video on it. There's some pictures on my Facebook page, so if you want to check out that. Otherwise, I'll be showing it in the review as well. Gonna try to do a few more things before getting that done, but they of course recommend their small dust boot for it, but it's just not big enough. And so our friend James Dean Designs, he had designed a 3D printed boot for 65 millimeter routers and spindles. And so I grabbed that file. He's got it for sale for, it's like just under $10. Got that printed out, had to wait it takes some M5 cap head screws, and the ones I had, the head was just a little too big. So I had to order some new ones and got that all rigged up. But then I needed a boom. And so that's what I was working on earlier today, was getting the actual mount. So I have like a post just clamped to the board. It's like a little T-board, a couple of pieces of plywood, and then I've got it hinged onto there. And then I cut out this arm on the CNC with some hooks to hold the hose. And then I needed to print out, there's someone who in one of the listeners and viewers has a parametric model on MakerWorld for a Z-stepper hose clamp. And so you set in like the distance and the size of the stepper, and it's supposed to adjust the model in MakerWorld for you. I did that, but there were a couple of screw holes that didn't adjust. So I reached out to him, and he was going to take a look at that. So hoping to use that long-term, but I cut out a plywood one. So that holds the hose kind of in line. And so it's not flopping on either side. And so it's ready to give it a test run with James Dust Boot. The bristles on the bottom are printed out of TPU. So everything's 3D printed on that with then some magnets. And so far it's working okay. Yeah, going to try to get a couple more tests with this machine before I put together kind of my initial thoughts on it. So far it's been nice. What are you doing over there?
I was trying to cue this video up.
Oh, so far it's been pretty nice machine. It's got closed loop steppers, linear rails. Everything's very rigid. As a matter of fact, it comes with their 710 watt trim router spindle, and I think that's going to be the limiting factor of this machine. I think with a proper spindle,
when that's the weak link, that's pretty good.
Yeah, with a proper spindle on there, you could definitely drive this thing faster, I think. But it's been pretty solid. I'm running it with G-Sender off a laptop, and so far it hasn't hiccuped on me at all with anything. So it takes up space. I've got it on my assembly table, and there's enough room for the laptop over there. But basically, you would need a 4 foot by 4 foot table dedicated to this with zero. I mean, that gives you no overhang. Like, you'd have to have your laptop and other things on something else. So it definitely needs some room, some space, but it is a pretty nice machine. Oh, and in the controller, the trim router plugs into it, so you don't need a relay to turn that on and off, which is kind of nice. It doesn't have a port for your dust extraction, but you could probably put one of those inline like power sensing relays or something like that would turn on the shop vac if you wanted. But I'm happier with at least the spindle turning on and off. I'm using the vacuum afterwards just to clean up a few extra things. So it's okay if it stays on there. But yeah, things are going well with that machine. I'm liking it. It's big. I need to make sure I have room to keep it in the rotation. Let me find I'll get the link for James's dust boot here real quick.
Yeah, but what we were talking about a while ago, I'll show you guys real quick. As far as when I was trying to get my P2 to do the tumblers, this is one of the issues I ran into, and you'll see what's happening right here. It's whacking it. So that's the reason I was like, okay, the RA3, that part of the RA3 is not working for me. So you can see where I stopped the machine and moved it over out of the way, because it was being a bit of damaging to my design. So I went back And after I built my part to correct this issue, I went back and did basically the same thing. And this is the result. Is when I'm engraving, the little clack shack rotary fingers, teeth, whatever I'm going to wind up calling them, are very close to the surface of the tumbler, and therefore they're in no threat of being struck by either the nozzle or the machine itself, as far as the housing or anything. Whereas with the other one, I said I was getting some smacking going on. I got lucky with the first couple of tests I ran, and you can see here, I took the cover off so I could watch it to see what kind of clearance I had. But you can see it's awfully close to that tumbler. And then as it turned around, that's when that little, if I was going to do a full wrap or doing a full, cover on this thing, you've got to go through there. So that it's not, yes, if I'm only putting a logo in the middle of the tumbler, it's not a problem. But I'm wanting to do like some full wrap type designs with this. And so I can't have this little piece right here sticking in the way, because when it sticks in the way, that's what ends up happening is, let's see, where was the one where it hit? Oh, there it goes. I say my video player is not coming back to the top. But there you can see it was doing a good job right here. And as it rotated, it started banging it. It's like bam, bam, bam. But the good news is the rotary did not move. You can see the little jig that I built for the rotary is doing the job of keeping it where it needs to be. So I had to overcome that because I was like, okay, I've got the placement, I've got repeatability, but that the impacting the rotary with the laser head was the second part of the problem that I had to solve the equation there. And the RA2 sitting in there the way that it's sitting, the design does have to be flipped 180 degrees. But if you rotate it the other way, the way that they've got everything set up,
perimeter alert, driveway,
the way they've got everything set up, it doesn't, the RA2 with the accessory kit doesn't fit in there right. So you just got to remember to 180 your design before you hit send. So. So apparently Dixie had a bad experience with that K1. I didn't take that machine. Did you? Did you have the K1 from Acemer? I think that's a little tiny little mini thing. I didn't take it.
No, I haven't worked with. The last thing I did with them is, I forget, it was either the P3 or that little mini open frame one. So,
yeah.
What was the? It's not upgradable to IR, or what was
it? Said that K1 is not upgraded to IR module, no camera, no cut plate, unlike others out there. No Wi-Fi. Yeah, Wi-Fi is not something that you see a lot in the GRBL machines. It happens occasionally, but typically that's unless you're using an app and an ad hoc network, which I don't do.
Yeah, there are only a few that do it.
Algo and Ortur are the only two companies that I've dealt with that actually had workable wireless on a like a GRBL based machine.
Yeah, probably. As you say, the
new Alien Sail and the X-Tool products work, but they're not really. They work as a GRBL machine, but I don't think that the controllers are not typical. Let's see what we got now. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody was asking a question for you because I don't have this machine. It says, how easy is the Snapmaker U1 to learn compared to Bamboo A1? Do you have a Snapmaker machine? Because I don't have one.
Nope. That's that one that came out. They had the Kickstarter. Last?
That's the one with the multi-head, right?
Yeah. It was the Kickstarter was late last summer, I think, and then they started shipping them just before Christmas.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if you had a Snapmaker. You've got so many 3D printers, I couldn't keep up. Richard's asking, using the recommended settings from GenieBit, 60-degree I still get tear out from wood. Is that normal or slow down using oak? Well, I can tell you now, oak is, especially if you're trying to go with the grain, you're going to get chip out, tear out with a lot of bits. You just about need to set it to go across. And if you're getting too much chip out, you may be going either too slow on your spindle speed or too fast. It depends on. I'd have to look at it and see, but you might want to play with your spindle speed as well as make sure you're not going with the grain on oak. If the grain runs this way and you're cutting this way, you're going to get those little short little toothpick chips that are going to chip out pretty regular with almost any bit that you use. But you can, a lot of times you can do a less of a depth of cut. It might help. But I don't, like I said, oak is very tear out-ish chippy. Like it is. I mean, it's an affordable hardwood, but at the same time, it will tear out pretty bad because I do a lot of my little barbecue trophies and stuff like that out of oak. And I have to consciously remember that if I'm going to be engraving or cutting, I need to try to minimize going with the grain. Now, when you're cutting something out, you really can't help it because at some point you're going to go with the grain. But the step over and decreasing the step over would probably help because you're taking a thinner chunk. It's not as thick. What say you there, Steve? I know you hate oak, so.
Yeah, the grain's going to make a big difference. But you know, with Cody's 60-degree bit, I mean, their downshare, they should be less than others. So, maybe see if you can back off the depth a little bit. Double check maybe that whatever router spindle you're using actually is getting close to the recommended RPM. I know with the dial ones on some of these, they're best guess on the RPMs. So, yeah, but yeah, oak can be a bit of a fickle one, especially, you know, even grain orientation, you know, whether it's edge grain, end grain, with grain, quarter sawn, you know, you can get different behaviors just from grain orientation as well. So I would try, if you can go, you know, pick up something like, you know, if you can grab like an inexpensive maple board somewhere and just try the same thing, see if you're getting the similar, see if it's working better or not. It might lean more towards the material that you need to make some adjustments for. But yeah, I would, that's the thing with the CNC routers is it is a game of, you got to make sure you've got good material hold down. Then you have to really start dialing in the RPM of the spindle, the depth of the cut, the speed, the feed rate that you're moving that through it, your step over as far, there's a lot of it. It's not just fire the laser. Did it go through? No, you know, higher power, lower speed kind of thing. There's a lot more variables to do. So it can get very frustrating. You almost have to do a little more trial and error of kind of playing with the settings. And that's one of the things, like if you're using, you just make sure your controller allows you to adjust the feed rate on the fly. And then whether you've got software controlled spindle or the dial on the trim router, you know, just create some shapes and some material and run it while making minor adjustments to your feed rate and the speed of your router. And you'll see and you'll hear some differences, and maybe you'll get a cleaner cut at a certain kind of combination. But in some materials too, and oak being a little more dense and a little more grainy, it can be a little trickier. You might need to just take a little shallower pass depending on the machine, depending on the spindle that it has, the power it has. So
yeah, I tend to run with the oak stuff I'm doing, especially if I'm engraving. I'll run my, I would almost say I'll run my spindle RPMs a little higher than I probably should, because I'll get a little more, I don't know, finer shavings, I guess you could say, instead of trying to get big chips. Because if you're trying to get big chips on oak, you're going to increase the likelihood, from my experience, of throwing those big little toothpicks out of there. So I go very conservative with any kind of like engraving that I'm doing. I'll sometimes go a little bit deeper with like if I'm cutting or just doing a pocket, especially like a rough and pass for a 3D carve or something. I'll run wider step over and stuff like that because I'm not worried about chip out. But like the other day when I was doing the alien, I had some pretty bad chip out, but I wasn't worried about it because it was a 3D rough and pass, and I intentionally set my step over a little further. And the further your step over is, instead of like coming in from the end of the material and chipping the corner off of it, the deeper you go in, that rotation of that bit is more pulling the material away from the wall of the pocket or whatever. So step over would probably be my first thing, would be to try to maybe cut my step over down a little bit and see if that helps. But Cody you might can message Cody and he might can give you some more insight. But it's like Steve said, make a bunch of shapes or letter A's or whatever, and just try different settings. But step over and depth of cut would be the two easiest to play with variables, in my opinion. Brian said spend the $20 to cut my upload time in half, more time to work the honeydew list. I'm gonna be honest with you, my upload time for videos is like, it takes me a quarter, well, even probably less than that, of the time to upload it as it does for it to process through YouTube. Like I can upload a video in literally seconds. Like it'll be like 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 80, 100% uploaded, processing. So no matter how fast you upload it, the processing is going to take longer if you have decent internet. But yeah, I usually will hit upload and go like take a break, get a direct glass of tea, a sandwich or whatever, and then come back and do, the other parts of the video.
Yeah, I'll often upload and then I'll start working on the thumbnail.
Yeah, while it processes and checks for,
because I do what everybody tells you not to do, and that's the last thing I do. So
yeah. Ryan Ballard.
I'm gonna jump ahead here.
Yeah, I'm behind. I'm scrolling.
Here's a good one. Rob Veit's asking, with the alien cell, when would you use the slats and when would you use the honeycomb? I was actually thinking about making a video on this, but using the P3 because I recently picked up a aftermarket honeycomb for that. So the whole idea here is you want to support the material, so it's flat and level, but you want as much airflow moving underneath it. So if you are cutting big parts that don't need as much support, the slats are awesome because you have fewer contact points for the material to sit on the actual rails and slats versus all the individual little ones on a honeycomb. And also the airflow is better because the honeycomb is great, but it still has to go down through that webbing and then out. So bigger items that aren't going to fall or shift, the slats are great. Where you want to use the honeycomb is when you use smaller, intricate items that you can't use tabs, and they might fall crooked, or or fall and get in the way. They could fall all the way through, and then the beam goes through and it destroys them. Things like that. Basically, you need more support, and that's when you would want to use the honeycomb. In that you need more touch points on smaller, more intricate items. The other thing would be with a honeycomb, you have more options to set up like alignment things and such, whereas the slats are kind of just these bars every so often. It's a little harder to have, like a square alignment jig on slat. Not impossible. It's just harder to put them on there. So it really just comes down to minimizing the touch points, but maximizing your support as to what you need for your job. So hopefully that answers that.
Yeah, I've actually the other day I was cutting. What was I cutting out? Some things for May. Some of those ink bandits, and so I wound up. I ran the bars because there were areas where I had a bunch of little small tabs falling out, and I'm like, I'm just going to fill the crumb tray up and empty them all at one time. and I'm going to leave just enough bars in there so that when the pieces get cut out, they don't fall through, but the little squares do. And so that's what I did is I set it up to where when I got through cutting, all of the little small pieces fell through into the crumb tray, but all of the pieces that I needed stayed on the slats. But there were literally two connection points on each end where it flashed a little bit to try to minimize the flash on those parts, because I didn't want the flash is bad. And it actually worked really well. And I don't know if I know I had nothing.
It's also easier to clean the slats than it is a honeycomb, because you can generally pull them out individually. It's easier to get, spray on both sides, get a cloth, wipe them down. Whereas the honeycomb, it's, you get the stuff in the comb and it's a little harder.
Another thing, if you're the guy that's in charge of washing dishes, you can literally just take them in the house and stick them in the dishwasher. And
right, but it's easier to do with the slats than a honeycomb.
Yeah,
it's easier to clean them all around.
Yeah, I haven't stuck them in the dishwasher yet, but I was looking at them the other day. I was like, I can go in there and get some of that pot and pan cleaner and put in there and run it a couple of times.
Did you know? We all love LA Awesome, right, for cleaning that stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know they have a purple variant that has lavender scent?
I don't know that I would want lavender scent, really.
Neither did I, but Carla
did you buy it accidentally, or?
Carla bought some cleaner, and I was looking at it on the counter. I was like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Wait, LA Awesome lavender? What?
You sure it wasn't like Fabuloso or whatever?"
No, it was LA Awesome. And purple. It was colored purple, and it apparently has a lavender scent to it. So if you want your laser to smell extra nice.
Yeah, Robbie's asking, do I have a 3D print file for that part? Obviously, yes. This was printed on my Bamboo Lab. And then the O-rings, I just bought a kit of O-rings the other day. You can pop these. The O-rings just got to pop off. Those are just more or less friction enhancing. That's all they're for. And then you can just pop them back on. So the 3D, the O-rings are legit like rubber O-rings. They come in a kit. But the part, yes. I designed it in Fusion and printed it out. So yeah. It was inspired heavily by the color pattern was inspired heavily by my shirts. So it's orange with black. And it's printed out of PETG with like a 35%. I think I did 35% infill with 5-layer walls. So they're really solid. Like they're like, I was shocked at how solid they are, because I was afraid I was going to torque them down and the screw was actually going to pull through. But no, it did not. It does not pull through. Like the screw goes in there and you can tighten them up as tight as they need to be with no problems. Oh. But yeah, it was another interesting design, I might say.
News fan is saying, David, I thought your go-to CO2 for tumblers was the Polar. What changed?
Well, the Polar was doing a really good job, but y'all know that I'd been using my S1. I really like my RA2 Pro with the adjustments and stuff. But the P2 had been in timeout since I first got it, and I wanted to revisit it and see if I could come up with a way of making the tumblers work, because like half of the fun that I have in my shop is figuring out how to fix problems. And this is a problem that X-Tool hadn't fixed, in my opinion, with the RA2 Pro and the P2. And I like my P2. I like X-Tool software. When I was using the X-Tool, it was in XCS days. It was before X-Tool Studio. And now that they've come out with some of the new tools, and they've actually got like QR code creator and some of the other things that they're adding to it, I figured I'd give them a chance and try it again. The only big grumble that I had with the OhmTech was the fact that, like I said, the bottom, like you had to take the bottom out of the machine completely. Like it was the tumbler, the rotary was sitting on the table beneath the machine, and I had these big extension legs. So it works, and I had a buddy of mine who wanted a CO2 machine that didn't have one, and so He's one of my subs that I send work to. And so he has it. Matter of fact, I was on the phone with him earlier, walking him through the tumbler setup on it because he wants to go ahead and start familiarizing himself with it. So lots of different reasons. I'm trying to get some machines out of the shop to make room for stuff, because I've got some things I want to do and that I'm probably going to end up doing. And so things are constantly moving around in the shop. That's just the nature of it. And like I said, I like X Tools software now. I didn't like it when it was first turned over to XCS. I'm starting to like it more and more now. And like I said, this machine's the P2 is a decent machine. I wish I had a P2S, but the P2 is a decent machine, and it does a good job. So, but it came down to I'm fixing to clear some space, and so I got to figure out which one's going to do the best job on tumblers. And I sat and watched. I bet I've watched every P2 tumbler RA2 video on YouTube. I think I've watched every single one of them, from X Tools to like everybody's, trying to see. And every video I watched, it was just clunky, trying to get it to line up. You put another tumbler in there. Now you got to make sure you got your RA2 lined up. It's got to be under the red dot. If you shift it one way or the other, there's no way to frame because it doesn't have a red dot or anything on the P2. There ain't even the option to frame on the P2 with the Rotary. So I was like, I gotta have a better way. And so when I finally made a decision that I think I know how to do it, I think I figured out how I can do it. That's when I got the OhmTech out of here, made room for this guy. And that's kind of been one of my things I've been working on this week, is testing it, seeing where the flaws were and addressing the flaws. And I think I got them all addressed. I think it's good to go now. Now, I tried to set it up to where it's not going to matter as much the size of the tumbler, because it's measuring the height on the pivot end, and this machine does have it to where you can pivot the other end. So I'm always going to bring the other end up even with this end. So I think I've looked at every scenario and got them covered. But worst case, I have to build another plate to be able to move the RA2 further or closer to the side. But we'll see.
So while you're on that topic, EMT Dave's asking, is the plywood jig for the RA2 P2 attached to the machine or the crumb tray?
It's dark in there right now. Hang on, let me open the lid. It doesn't attach per se. It sits in this crumb tray, and then the crumb tray is pushed back all the way to where it basically kind of traps itself in there. But this isn't really attached. It's just sitting in there. You can take this out, but it fits the crumb tray exactly, so it can't move. And I made it a 3-piece design that snaps together. That way you can actually cut this file on the P2. So, and there's this little pocket right there where you can put your tools and stuff. And then there's for the RA2 with accessories. So it's pretty handy. Like I said, I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna work on the video hopefully tomorrow. I think I've got all my like trip points addressed with this setup. I don't see how, especially with these tumblers, which is what I'm using, the Hassel Outfitter 20 ounces that I've been using forever. Like, it don't matter which one it is. I can drop it in there and go with it. And so the way I've got it set up, the red dot hits the tumbler right where the chuck connects to it. So that's always going to be the highest point. So I'm really not seeing any more points of failure for the system. So I think I'm good. But I'm going to test it a little bit more in the morning and just mill it over and make sure I haven't overlooked anything.
Cool.
But they're supposed to be sending me to RA3, and yes, they're claiming that they have improved. And I've checked my software. I have RA3 manual and RA3 auto already in my XCS settings, but I didn't want to go jump into the RA3 for all the folks that already have the RA2 Pro. Now, if you don't have the accessory kit, I strongly advise you get the accessory kit, because the accessory kit takes that RA2 Pro from being okay to being pretty darn awesome, because it lifts it up, gives it more clearance, gives it the ability to pivot. Like, it gives you this. Hang on, I'll show you over here. This green laser. Where's it at? Hang on. Extra camera. All right, there we go. Well, where'd you go? There we go. So with the RA2 Pro, the accessory kit, like I said, you take the tumbler, you slide it on here, and all I got to do is back that chuck out to where, hang on, my righty tighty, lefty loosey there. So you get that on there. So now I'm on the chunk, and you can see there's the little red dot that you have to put at the highest point. Well, with this one, because I've got the RA2 accessories, I can actually tilt my tumbler with that little knob there. And so leveling the tumbler is as simple as putting your level up there and just turning this knob. And I'm level, so I can take that off. Well, if you want to make sure that everything's lined up with the RA2 accessory kit, you get this little guy, which is cool because you can put it up here and turn it on, and now you've got a green laser that runs down that is the perfect center of that tumbler. And you can see that the red dot is in the perfect center. Everything's lined up. So that just lets you know where everything is. And the cool thing about it is let's see here. Let me get connected. In their software, you can also like I can go right here in their software now that I've got everything in there, and I can come over here and take a close picture of this tumbler that's in there. So I can take a close photo, and you can see that green line is lined up with the center of the thing. Now, obviously, I haven't set the focus and all that yet. So, but we're going to go over all this tomorrow in the video. I need to close the lid to get an accurate measurement. But I'm going to go over it tomorrow and show you guys how it works. But here it is. Okay, now I got it going. So I can go now. And you can see that green line is right there at the rotational axis of the tumbler. So I can go over here and take I can literally take this close view shot, and it's going to show you how close to being aligned everything is. So if I put my design in here, I know everything's perfect. And I've already built this this frame right here is basically a full wrap. If I fill this with graphics, it's gonna go all the way around that tumbler. So it's working out really, really good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was a little impressed with what I was able to accomplish today and how accurate and how repeatable of results I'm able to get with this now that I've got everything the way I like it. So I was pretty happy about it. Because I used to hate this machine for tumblers. Y'all know how bad I talked about it because you're trying to get the rotary. And if anybody else has the P2 and have done tumblers, let me know if I'm wrong. But you had to keeping that rotary from moving around inside there was a pain. Before the RA2 accessory kit, you had to you couldn't adjust the tilt of the tumblers with the old RA2. It was fixed flat. I mean, there were just so many things I didn't like about it. But X-Tool has fixed the chuck with the RA2 accessory kit, and then they fixed their software a little bit, and now I've been able to kind of fix these issues here as well. So I think altogether, I think this is gonna be it. So I think I'm gonna walk over here for a second. Be right back.
All right. Sean D is asking if you had the budget, some woodworking experience, but no CNC experience, which 4x4 would you purchase to learn and produce on? Shapeoko or Onefinity? It's a good question. There's both are very capable machines. I have an older Onefinity. I don't have their newer models that either had the Maswell controller or the Redline. Mine still has the older build Botics, and so there are some. My experience with them is kind of limited to that. The Shapeoko kind of has all in one, their controller, their software. You don't necessarily need anything extra there. And if you get one of the newer Onefinities, it's kind of similar in that vein. So, you know, I would maybe make some calls to them and look some of their features, maybe talk to them about some of their questions, see how they answer them, because customer support is kind of the biggest thing with any company you deal with. You can kind of get a feel with maybe asking a few questions of pre-sales support, how you might get answered afterwards at post-sales support. I think both of them are going to be pretty decent companies to work with. And, you know, David's got his Shapeoko. I've got my Onefinity. They're both very capable machines. So, I think the Onefinity might be easier to assemble just by its nature. But once you get them up and running,
I don't know.
you took a lot longer to build yours than I've seen anyone take on their Onefinity. So,
well, but you got to build a table for the Onefinity, though. You can't
no,
just.
you don't. You can buy the QCW.
Well, they do have that now.
Well, they've had that for a while.
I don't know. I don't. The biggest part of this one was putting all the darn screws in the bed. That was the hardest. That was the most time-consuming part.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a Onefinity, so I can't say. They're good machines. But I don't know. I like mine though. I like my Shapeoko. The only thing I wish Shapeoko would do is come out with a rotary that's capable of doing like 36-inch to 40-inch like stock. So I can do like walking sticks and stuff. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I think that's just too much of a niche that they don't, you know, not a lot of people want to spend the time on it.
Yeah, I get it. They're wanting to stick with the, you know, high frequency purchases. Yeah. And I get that. But it would be really, really cool. I have actually thought about getting another machine, maybe getting like a 2-foot by 4-foot machine if I had room, just for having the rotary, because Onefinity and CNC Labs both have a rotary that would fit the bill. I think CNC Labs has actually got a higher capacity as far as lengthwise, but either one of those would do what the kind of things I would like to do, but I just don't have room for it, because like that table is pretty much, that is all the room I've got for CNC stuff.
Yeah,
running out of space.
Well, you got to move your toolbox museum back there out of the way. Put another machine there.
The toolbox is full of tools, though. Like I got to put a thermostat in my Trailblazer this week. I got to have those tools, dude. I used to could pull my Trailblazer in here and put a thermostat in it, but now I got to do it on the porch. I got to put headlights in the Trailblazer. Man, my old beater is just falling apart.
So yeah, it's you're gonna go well with either one. So I would maybe just watch a few videos of some people explaining how they work with them and see if one clicks better than the other. Maybe talk to the companies about delivery times and some support. See if you get a good feeling either way. But I think either machine you're going to be good with. Just kind of what kind of comes down to personal preference, the things you're looking at, and the feeling maybe you get from the company. So
yeah. Yeah, like I said, I can't throw rocks at either company. It just depends on what you want in the machine. Robbie says, is the RA2 file on your Etsy store? Not yet. That's tomorrow. Like I said, I was hoping to be done with that today, but I had a little bit of a glue issue with my base because I wanted a 2-layered base instead of a 1. And I glued it and weighted it, and it stuck really good in the middle, but the edge just popped up. So I had to go back and re-glue it and clamp it and all that. So I'm running a little bit behind on my video. And I like to thoroughly test it to make sure my little pieces don't break or anything. What's up, Liberty? Speaking of CNCs, there you go. There's you, Liberty, over there. She needs to put Liberty, you need a logo to go on your YouTube channel. Put that on your things to do. That way we can recognize you. A little brand recognition going there.
Well, you don't like the L?
The L's just looks like a random, just like a rando, you know? So yeah, Duck Wood. I'm not sure why they didn't make it bigger. And the rotaries that OMTech sells are not great. The R1, the AtomStack R1 makes that machine usable, in my opinion, for tumblers up to a certain size, and it works really good. And I didn't have any major issues with the machine other than, like I said, it wasn't ideal. And also I felt like, if I'm going to get rid of a machine, I wanted to try to give the P2 another try, because this was like my very first, I think it was my first CO2 machine.
No, you had that the
M40.
Yeah. It was your first real CO2.
Yeah.
That one was M40 K40. If you do put in the time, it's a capable machine, but it's kind of like getting a kit, like a 90% kit,
There's tweaking to be done. Erica Abernathy is asking, did the Glacier earn a spot in the shop? Unfortunately, no. I do have access to it and the X1, but that's why. Let me explain to you guys how this works. I have limited space, but I have buddies who I send work to and who help me with jobs that have spaces of their own. Klein over at Klein's Engraving, which is, y'all familiar with Klein, currently has the Glacier, and we moved the Aesmer X1 has been moved over to my buddy Bill's place at his laser shop. So I still have access to those machines if I need them, because they're more or less on loan, permanent lease, whatever you want to call it, to those guys. Klein's loving the Atom Stack Glacier. He got the enclosure, he got the machine and everything. He did have to go buy 2 honeycombs for it because he didn't have honeycombs. So he bought 2 honeycombs for the, we watching a hat now? For the Glacier.
There's the spot it earned in my shop.
Yeah.
On the ceiling.
So my thing is because see now, if like Billy was over here the other day when my lady that does the balloon arches was here, and I told her, because like sometimes she'll want, instead of the 32-inch that I do in Enclosure Zilla, she may want something bigger. And I told her, I said, hey, we can go up to 59 inches wide over at Billy's on the X1, because we measured it the other night. We made a square on the work area and measured it, and we can get 59 inches on the Y axis and 47 on the X, because you remember I had that limit switch that got broke and I had to engineer it, and anyway, it lost about 1 inch on the X axis, but on the Y I actually did some modifications and got it out to like 59 inches on the Y. So that's pretty impressive work area that we got on that. But I still have access to the machines. I can go run them. I can use them. I can go do videos with them, but they can't live here if they're that big. I've had to tell these companies to quit sending me the big machines. I turned down one the other day that I probably shouldn't have turned down, but I turned it down because it was going to gobble up way too much room in my shop. And I can't, because I still have to do stuff in here. Like I'm still paying, like stove covers pay my bills. You know what I mean? Projects and doing stuff pays my bills. These machines, some of them I make very little off of, because the companies don't pay affiliate commissions. They say they will, but they don't. And the watch ads are not all that impressive on those machines. So I can't justify having a machine in here that takes up, a 4 foot by 4 foot square foot area that's not generating revenue in some way. This machine makes me money because I do jobs with it. These machines make me money because I do jobs with them. But if it goes more than a month or two in my shop and don't get used on a job, I start looking at ways that I can use that area to make money. Because
in fairness, I think that machine you're talking about is more of a 3 foot by 5 foot instead of a 4 by 4.
It's still big. By the time you put the enclosure together, it was 4 foot by 4 foot. Exactly.
Oh, well, you're talking about the Glacier?
Yeah, the Glacier.
Oh, I was talking about the one you turned down.
Oh, yeah, the one I turned down. Yeah. But it had a air compressor, all this other stuff too. So,
well, the air compressor wasn't required.
But yeah, I turned it down because I got real estate issues right now, and I need my real estate.
Sounds like you need a realtor.
No, I need somebody that knows how to build a building is what I need, but it's a matter of money. They don't just give them things away. I'm saving for the next couple of years.
Well, you're just in the wrong genre for YouTube. You get the right one, they'd give you one of those pole buildings.
Well, maybe over at the Cleckley's, maybe we can get one. We'll see.
Chris Gallagher is asking about, I'm hearing about green lasers, lower frequency than UV coming soon. What advantage will they have over UV?
That's the internal engraving ones, isn't it?
Yeah, the only ones I've seen are they're kind of some of the original internal engraving ones. And from what I understand, they will do a better job of like the actual shading. So if you want to do more of the internal engraving with photo, like actual shading of photos, I think they're the ones you really want to be targeting at. That's just from my kind of real light looking into them. I haven't looked that deep into them, but does that kind of jive with what you've heard? Or
I think those aren't they around like 250 nanometers,
something like that, maybe.
Yeah, those actually have been out for a long time, but just like UV, they have always been like really high priced. And I know the company that does green lasers are typically 532. I don't think that's it though, but I think it's going to be the same machines that they do the photo, like when they do the grayscale images inside a crystal, not the bubble, like, the ones like me and you've done, but the actual grayscale images. Those I think are the green lasers, and they have a really, really, really fine dot size.
Yeah.
So, but no, I haven't heard a whole lot about it. So, Gray Viking, no, I do not have one in the shop, but like I said, I am in rural Alabama. So, I mean, if you need to, you can step around the corner back here. Cows might see you, but just don't face the street or the road and you're good.
EMT Dave is asking, have either of you heard anything about the new We Create Lumos Flex? I mean, I've heard of it. It's what, 15 watt fiber, 15 watt blue diode.
No, I think it's 2020, if I'm not mistaken. They sent me an email.
I think the advertisement I saw was 1515, but I could be wrong.
Maybe it's a different machine then. Never
definitely
mind.
Looks like a competitor for the Lumos or the F2.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Never mind. Disregard my last statement. The Flex is 1515.
Yeah, they're coming out with a different one that I think is what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
But yeah, sounds like their answer to the X-Tool F2.
Yeah, it's gonna be back and forth. There's also a couple more companies that are coming out with different machines. It's lasers are evolving. Like companies are the laser wars are real. Like companies are trying to come out with 5 more. I got 5 more watts than you got. Oh, I can go 1,000 millimeters per second faster than you can. But they're all going to be the world's fastest and the world's first.
Yep.
Or the world's largest.
World's first purple colored laser that has dual caps and orange knobs. Here's a real important question. Not Bored Woodworking is asking, how do you sign up for Clack's semi-permanent loan program?
Well, let me put it to you. There's 2 people on it, and both of them I have worked with. One of them I have been friends with since the 6th grade. And the other one used to work for me, and I've been friends with him since 2004, I think. So it's a small list. Now I have family. I got family and friends and stuff like that. The schools, like my daughter is actually taking shop class this year, and so she's been coming home going, "Hey, our shop teacher said if you had any extra wood or extra this or extra that, you could throw it our way." So I donated a lot. I gave 1 machine so far this year. I've gave 1 CNC machine to the local. What do they call that? It's robotics, but what is it? Automated manufacturing, maybe? Is that what they call it? It's a technical school. It's basically the robots that unload pallets, and they do all kind of electronics and robots and
so our program for that's called mechatronics. it's a combination of machine automation, pneumatics, electronics, and so yeah, they're doing everything from like a simple vending machine on up to stuff for SpaceX, where it's a combination of you don't just call an electrician or a plumber or whatnot. They know pneumatics, they know electronics, they know machine control. They can use sensors to identify things and such. So it's definitely, and there's a few places they call it a few different things. Advanced manufacturing is another term they use for it, but
but I've donated one machine so far this year to them. And it was one that my buddy Bill had that it was an okay machine, but when I got the Genmitsu that I just got through with, I sent it to Bill's, and then the one that Bill had went to the school. So, and Bill just happens to be the SRO at that school. So it's really easy to say, hey, throw that in your truck and take it to work with you and give it to the teacher. But yeah, I do. And now I will say this, there are a lot of giveaways done. I don't know how many of y'all have ever been to a Clack Shack meet and greet, but every meet and greet I have done, I've gave away at least one machine. The last meet and greet we done, I gave away 2 CNCs, a Galvo laser, and a big enclosed laser. So I gave away like last meet and greet. I think it was $8,000 worth of machines I took with me to the meet and greet. And if me and Steve can get one planned for up his way, maybe we can throw some stuff up, out that way.
For sure.
But I try to give back. I do what I can. And we do have drawings occasionally to where machines get, sent out to people, whether it's through cooperations with other companies or, just a thing we do through our channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chris is saying you just need a couple of 40-foot shipping containers joined together for Shack 2.0. I don't know how he would get them anywhere that he could use them.
Yeah, they haven't seen the landscape over here, have they?
Yeah, it would take a lot of dirt work and then retaining to move things around, which you're going to have to do some of for a build. But with a build, it's easier to bring materials in and build on site versus trying to truck in a
already built box.
Yeah, a large box like that. So
yeah, but my plan is to get me about a 30 by 40 or maybe a 30 by 50. I don't know yet. It depends. Depends on how much money I can save up and how much it costs when I get ready to do it. But I've got some dirt work to do and some landscaping to do up there to try to make room for it. But between here and my sawmill, I got plenty of room. I just got to move some trees and bring some dirt down. Unfortunately for me, I don't live in one of those spots to where I have to have dirt trucked in from other places. Like all I got to do is bring the hill down the hill a little bit. And you take the up part of the hill and the low part of the hill and you kind of make it flat in the middle. So my property is like, let's see, I got 1 terrace, 2 terraces, and then a plateau. So I got like 2 terraces and a plateau here on my property that I can deal with. But we can make another terrace. It just takes time and some dirt moving. That's what I'm going to wind up doing. Is I'm gonna, up there where the chicken pen is, between the chicken pen and the sawmill, I'm going to pull that dirt and make that flatter because it's kind of flat, but I'm going to make it flatter, and that's where I'm going to put the next shop, hopefully.
Got to make sure that you can get your tractor up that way with forks when you take delivery of bigger machines,
Yeah, and that's what me and Brandy have been looking at too, because there were some discrepancies about where we're going to put the storm shelter that's coming. I see somebody just asked about it. It's supposed to be here Tuesday, and we're putting the storm shelter in. Well, I'm trying to be careful and not put it to where if I do change my driveway later and come in at a different angle, I don't want the storm shelter to be like right there in the way or, whatever. So I'm having to kind of look 2 years in the future to where's my driveway need to be to put my shop here, and that kind of thing. I think I've got it figured out. I've got 2 spots that I can put the storm shelter. So when the guy gets here, I'm going to let him pick. I'm going to say, is it going to be easier to put it here, or does it really matter? And then we're going to go from there. Brandy kind of wants it away from the driveway, like around behind the house to where you can't see it until you get behind the house. Because the other way, you could literally kind of see it from like when you leave the road, But I told her I'm not going to leave it this lime sherbet green color that it comes. I'm going to paint it. I'm going to make it look nice, put flowers around it, all that kind of stuff. So,
it's going to camo it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just paint it brown and then
plus, if you put it where she wants it, then it's closer to the shack because we know you're going to be working in there to the last 20 seconds before that tornado hits.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I told her, I was like, I'm trying to get it close to the house. I was like, I know we're pretty mobile right now, but we might not always be. You know what I mean? So you have to consider too that I plan on living here from now on. So there might be a day to where, you know, I'm out here just trying to get there, you know, and so I want it to be close. So we're working through it, but it's supposed to be here Tuesday getting put in.
Cool. Well, that'll be good to have.
Yeah, because especially where we are, like I said, we've had some near misses. We've had 3 near misses since we built the house. So,
yeah. Santa's Laser Engraving mentions I saw today that Monport has a 6-watt and a 10-watt UV out, and yeah, they have announced that, and it also looks like it might be water cooled. So, not 100% sure on that, but I saw in one of the things they were talking, it looked like they had a chiller.
That would be much quieter.
Yeah, I would.
Some of the competitors.
I would love to take a look at one of those if for that only reason. Even if it doesn't do like the internal crystal Z-axis stuff, if it would be a typical UV laser.
Yeah, like the Omni, like a competitor.
Like the Omni 1, but without the wind tunnel, you know, airplane testing fans. That would be great. So yeah. We'll see. I know, you know, more places continue to come out with those with UV lasers, so it'll be curious to see how those come and what that does for the prices. So Not Bored We're Working is asking, have you heard any more about the Galvo laser that they strapped on a gantry? That one seems intriguing. The only one that I'm aware of is the cell laser. We did take a look at it at CES. There they were still running it kind of hybrid between their software and Lightburn. Looks like from what I saw from Rich, he went out to the APA show. It looks like they were running it 100% on Lightburn, and they've sent a couple of control boards to Lightburn to try to integrate more of the controls into it. And so, yeah, it does look, you know, if you're doing a lot of engraving, it's definitely something that would speed things up for you. It is very fast at that. We didn't get to see it cutting. We saw some of the things it was supposed to do. It has kind of like a tool tray where it drops off the cone when it's not needed, and then it'll go over and pick it up for the air assist cone and such. But we didn't get to actually see that in action, so I can't really speak to that laser and its cutting capability. But as far as engraving, the speed was fast. It can do some three-dimensional stuff. So if you have like a tiered thing, I forget the distance it was, but I think the one they demoed there was at least 2.5 inches of difference that it was engraving from top to bottom. So definitely a cool laser. I believe at this point they did their Kickstarter, so those are going to go up first, but I think those are going out in the June-July timeframe, and then after that the retail versions would be available early fall. But that's what I know about it.
Yeah, I mean, you get the same information I got because we were there talking to them at the same time.
Yeah.
It appears to be a pretty good, I mean, it's an interesting idea. I don't know exactly. It's hard to weigh the benefits of it until it gets, till it gets where you can actually run it and see it. But yeah, interesting idea. I had this queued up earlier, going to show everybody. I didn't do it, but there's everybody's always asking me about my designs and where I design at. This is that 3D part that I made for the tumblers. Pretty awesome. Yeah. And you can if you've never looked in Fusion before, you can actually put it in here and kind of look at it and all that good stuff. Which is pretty much the same all the way around. Yeah. So there you go.
Not Bored Woodworking is also commenting, I ended up buying an S1 40 watt and it's about 2/3 of the way through paying for itself. But
what's the but?
I don't know. Yeah, no, that's great that you it's always nice when if that's your goal, I mean, a lot of people buy these just for fun and hobby, but if your goal is to, either pay it back or do it as a business, definitely having a plan beforehand and kind of finding what you can do that's maybe a little bit different or better than others definitely helps that. But it's always nice to get that, get that machine paid off. Or in some cases, that machine paying for other tools. I mean, it would technically be my second CNC machine. I mean, it paid for my saw stop table saw. I used the saw stop with it, but it was more of a helper to what I was doing on the CNC machine, allowing me to break down material more and such. But yeah, congratulations on that.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's kind of like my sawmill. When I first bought it, I was just wanting it for me because I was trying to fix this building up and stuff. But I ended up making a pretty good bit of money off of it, doing cedar slabs and stuff like that. And I was able to take that money and reinvest it in other tools. The planer, I bought the planer. I think I bought the table saw. All of that stuff was bought with money off of that sawmill. And then eventually I bought a laser with some of my money off of the sawmill. And so a lot of the stuff in here has been, like you said, I'm using one tool to make money to buy more tools. Because I did. I mean, I had to find some way to support my tool addiction because it was getting out of hand.
First step is admitting that there isn't a problem with buying more tools.
Yeah. It is definitely an addiction. But as long as you can pace it and as long as you can come up with a way to make your money back and not get, I've never had to finance anything. So that's one thing that I've always been real disciplined about, because then now your hobby is actually a job because you got bills waiting on the money. So that's one thing that I haven't had to do. Now I know some folks, different situations are different. But I was doing, at the time that I bought my sawmill, I was doing storm work. The hurricane had just hit Houston and Houston was underwater, and, there was looting and all this other stuff going on. And so they sent out the Homeland Security sent out an all call for people to come and help and do stuff. And then the private company started calling too. And I wound up going with a private company over to do some retail security in Houston. And I wound up staying I stayed up there for a solid week, but you get paid really well because they're basically paying you a per diem plus an hourly rate or a daily rate, whichever, you negotiate. And so I made pretty good money. So when I got back, that's when I ordered the sawmill. So it was like one job paid for another job, paid for, blah, blah, blah. So, but it was a fun time over in the wild Houston area.
Oh, let's see. Chris was wondering why our truck drivers don't know how to drive. Because theirs can drop a container between two playing cards on the side of a pyramid. I mean, I'd like to see that.
I mean, hey.
I think it's more just the layout of your. I mean,
they get stuck trying to go up the hill.
It's kind of steep and whatnot, so you'd probably have to bring it in so far and then crane it in the rest of the way.
Yeah, folks. Until you see. Well, matter of fact, hang on. Here is this is a picture of the hill behind my house. This is when I was doing the dirt work so I could get access to the sawmill. And I actually did this with a skid steer. So there's a log going to the sawmill, but yeah, it's not an easy place to get to. Like, you got to know what you're doing to get up behind my house. There's a reason why I have a 4-wheel drive. It's to make it to my backyard. Because without it, you would not, especially not pulling a trailer. You'd just be stuck right there. Because I live on, y'all have heard of the Appalachian Mountains and how they eroded over millions of years. And then all that, like, there was a big lake and ocean or whatever in the middle of the continent. And then there was these sandbars along the edges. That's where I live, on one of those sandbars. It's like everything is dirt and sand, like literally. My yard is made up of the tiny little pieces of eroded limestone and silica, and from the erosion of the Appalachian Mountains from back when they used to be big mountains before they got all short and stumpy.
Not board woodworking is saying I'd love to see Lightburn reaching out to and partnering with certain laser manufacturers. I mean, I think they're very willing to, but it kind of needs to be both ways too. I think some of the laser companies want to control more of their stuff. But also, I mean, it's a bandwidth thing. They've been trying to develop Milmage. They've been, and dropping it to just work with rando new laser company. I think they want to see some viability and some market penetration before they commit too much development time to it. But yeah, I think there's a willingness to it. Just comes down to resources and such. So always nice to see that capability and that compatibility still be there. But I do worry as things become more of these smart lasers with fancy options and tools and things on it. You're going to see more and more kind of specialized software just to drive them. So.
Yep.
REM Firearms says they purchased a Bamboo P2S and I'm amazed at the accuracy. Yeah, they're really nice printers. Generally very little that you need to do as far as dialing them in. The only thing is, not having filament issues. I got 2/3 through a spur of the moment print this afternoon and something failed, so I had a spaghetti mess. Well, it had spaghettied on an arm, and it was trying to do some of the other stuff, so I just had to pause it. But yeah, when things don't go wrong, which is rare, it's not often that I have problems with my Bamboo printers. But then the follow up to that is do you have a suggestion on software for making? You can play around within the slicer itself and doing some 3D modeling with their tools. Otherwise, a very basic one to get started with. I've done some tutorials off Tinkercad just to kind of it's a very simple web-based design tool put out by Autodesk. But if you really want to get into some high quality designing and very few limitations, then what Clark was showing you there is Autodesk Fusion product, and that is kind of like the high bar for design 3D design right now as far as like actual engineering type stuff. There's also SolidWorks and others that are escaping me right now, but there's basically different levels to it. You can start with the slicer, you can go with some of these free ones like the Tinkercad and such, and then kind of move into the more engineering ones.
Great. I think he's talking to me. Yeah. But yeah, I like Fusion, but now I learned how to work and design in Fusion. And I'm not, by no stretch of the imagination, am I a guru at it, but I can make things with Fusion. So for those of you that don't know, this is where I live. Like that's my house right there. And that is the shack from back in the day. You can see that at this time there was no front on it. It was literally a pole barn. So yeah, but this is where I live, and it's really sandy. And you can tell here I didn't have a whole lot of grass. Like this area wasn't green. I did get my drone out today. I'm charging it up, and I plan to have some fresh photos in the next few days. Here's another angle here from looking back, like from the cow pasture. You can see up here's where the sawmill is. I think this is actually looks like it's before the sawmill was even put in place. Or no, I think the sawmill's there, but there wasn't a building around it. That's what it is. But my sawmill is located right here. I do have a shooting house up here in a green field, which you can't see. But this is like up here is 200 feet or so above here. So and then my house is probably about 50 feet above the road. So this is like if you started rolling right here, you would roll all the way to the road almost. So when you get off of your RTV or your buggy or your tractor, you got to make sure the parking brake is set, because if you don't, it'll end up in the street. So, but I have some interesting video this week too, because I'm going to use the drone when they're putting in the. I'm going to do some drone video of the septic, or not the septic tank, the storm pit, storm shelter. install.
Cool.
But yeah, it's a wild area over here where I'm at. It's way back in the woods. Way back in the woods.
Not boardwalking is saying I'm locked into X-Tool Studios with my S1, but worry if I ever do grip plates for guns, they will end up locking my account. They had some very concerning rules in the last update, legal. Yeah, it's coming out of the 3D printing world, but the way the legislation is being written in some states, it opens the door for it across any kind of manufacturing methods, whether it's additive, subtractive, cutting, and whatnot. So it could hit CNC routers and lasers and whatnot as well, for some of those anti-copyright, terrorism, this thing could be perceived as being a threat to others kind of stuff. So that is a concern, and I'm sure a lot of companies are going to shy to the we don't want, they're going to acquiesce. They don't want the liability. They don't want the risk. So that it's a valid concern. It could happen. That doesn't mean it's going to get 100% locked out. There's always people who will find ways to jailbreak equipment and make it run without, stock software and such. But hopefully they understand that accessories are far cry from actual manufacturing of the whole thing. So
yeah, these are 3D printed pitchy.
Cool.
That's another project I've been working on. This is a me project. I have me projects that I work on and play around in my spare time, but this is I'm also going to take this and make it into a CNC file. But right now, this is a 3D printing file. I'm just double checking everything, and I've got the STL. I've cleaned it up, got it to where this is how it's 3D printing. But now I've got to do actual CNC. One more picture for those of y'all that think I live in a subdivision. There you go. Now this is my old drone, so disregard the action cam looking video or picture. But this is an old picture. But that's my neighborhood. It's all my neighbors out in here, all the squirrels, chipmunks, deer, all that. Yeah, so there you go. That's where I live. I'll have some better pictures this week because I'm gonna take some tomorrow because everything's starting to bloom, like the pear trees, the peach trees, plum trees. The dogwoods haven't bloomed yet, but I'll have some better pictures this week, hopefully.
Well, I'm just glad all the hail melted from the other night.
The hail?
Yeah, I sent you that video. We had
your place.
We had thunderstorms roll through Friday night, which developed some pea-sized hail, which actually there was a fair amount of it. I mean, it kind of coated and blanketed our lawn and our sidewalks and such. I actually went out to shovel some of it because then it was going to cool off, and we were supposed to have like an inch or two of snow in the morning, which we did get a dusting to about maybe an inch, but the snow melted before the hail actually did because it was very kind of fluffy, lightweight snow, whereas the hail is very dense. So, but that we had some nice sunny 65-degree day here today, so most of that's gone. But it is March in Minnesota, it means we could definitely get more snow. So,
yeah,
not a lot blooming up here.
Well, mercy. I don't know what to think about all that. I've actually got to where I'm actually having to cut the pre-emergent weeds. It's not really the grass yet. The grass is starting to come up. Right now it's the little clover and the little random little tiny flowers and all that kind of stuff that just grow wild that are starting to come up that I'm having to deal with. But yeah, it'll be, I think, another week or two, it'll be full blown. I have a lawn again. I'll have a yard again. Rims, I would like some new grips. Well, hang on, y'all get me started.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to warm up enough to really get the grass going. But yeah, I think I've been seeing some green weeds popping up here and there. But
yeah, Look at it. Look at that rim. Look at that. I got orange ones too, but I can't show you those. Those are currently being worn. Those are because these are kind of. I tell my wife because she's making fun of me a little bit. I told her it's kind of like the purse. You change the you can accessorize, so you can put these on. I got the orange ones. I think I got a picture of the orange ones. Or is it? Hang on. So I got a picture of the orange ones. But the orange, yeah, here they are. Here they are. So here's the orange ones with the honeycomb pattern. Yeah. So I got those. Of course, the red ones. How many orange shirts do I own? Let's see. The last time I went and bought them,
He's got 2.
No. I buy like $500 worth of them at a time. So I don't really know how many are currently in my closet, but I keep a box of them in my trailer so that when I go to places, I have shirts. So the last meet and greet we did, hang on, I gave away 30 or 40 shirts, I think. Hang on, let me find a picture. But yeah, I gave away a whole bunch of shirts last time. I ordered a bulk of shirts from my local people that make them. And by the time I left there, I was out of shirts. Like I got triple XL, 4XLs, like I had all sizes. And yeah. Let's see, meet and greet. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's that? Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. I think I put those pictures. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I'll show you guys. So I gave away a whole bunch of shirts. So there you go. Not everybody put theirs on, but some of them did. Some of you guys that are in the audience is in here. I wonder, I think I saw him in there. Yeah. Look, even Steve is right here. So y'all see Steve right there, right?
Well, you notice Steve doesn't have an orange shirt.
No, and he's in black and white too, because he's a grayscaled image burned on a piece of plywood. But but yeah, that was a photo that we took before we dismissed from the last meet and greet. And yeah, so yeah, I have a lot.
And I'll have y'all know, the only shirt that I have from Alabama is from Brandy, and it's for the peach jam or whatever, which I actually happen to be wearing right now. This is a very interesting screen that you're showing us here. He ran away. Where did I see it? Yeah. Yeah, Liberty, I think he does need to send you one for the videos. And get that bright orange in there. That'll definitely bring in at least 1 or 2 more people. So you got to send one to Liberty so she can wear them in the videos, Clack.
Oh, really? Yeah. Now I do have black ones too. This is a Clactical shirt. It's a Clactical. It's the definition of it. It says relating to or constituting design or builds by Clack, modifications to existing designs to make them better. That's when you make something Clactical. But yeah. See, these are new ones. So what happens is let's say if I need another shirt, because like I had to throw them away sometimes because they'll just get grungy. I just go get another one out of the box. But I also, like when I have drawings or giveaways and stuff like that, I give them away. And then a lot of times, if I have visitors or people that I meet at the interstate for lunch or something like that, I'll take them a shirt. So,
unless they drive down from Minnesota multiple times.
I thought you had a shirt.
No.
Really?
No.
Okay, well, I got some stuff I was going to send you, so I guess I had to throw a shirt in there. But yeah, but yeah, I have some folks. There's some local makers. It's 2 ladies that started in her her father-in-law's garage or something. But they started a little small, basically a side hustle, and it grew. And now they have their own little building and stuff like that. And I just literally ever so often I'll message them and say, hey, I need, 5 of this size, 10 of that size, 15 of that size, whatever. And I buy them and put them in the box. And then that way, like I said, I can give them away, which I need to get. Because like this is all I got left. After that last meet and greet, this is all I got left.
So not bored. I did all that and I got all that, but no t-shirt.
See, look. Thank you for your order. This and that custom designs. Yeah. See? But yeah, I do have a link in most of my videos where you can, if you want to order one, they'll actually ship you a shirt. You can order 3 or 4 of them if you want to. But you can buy the shirts. If you go to my website, I'm pretty sure I put their link on my website. Let me make sure before I lie to you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so if you go to my website, go to theclackshack.com. Right here, it says Clack Shack merch. You can click there. This will take you, if their site isn't broken. I haven't checked it lately. This goes to the This and That's website, and this is Clack Shack apparel. They did add some different colors for those of you who aren't a fan of the traditional orange. You can get other colors because I had some folks say, hey, look, I'm not really big on sticking out in the crowd. So could I have other color options? And so there are other less obvious color options. And these are some hats and stuff that they sell. Now, I will tell you, I do not make these. I do not laser these. They do them themselves. And I don't make any money off of this stuff. I told them to price it to where they make their money. I do not want to make anything. So the prices that are here are the same prices I pay when I order shirts from them myself. So
I want mine signed.
I mean, I guess you could get that. But you can go, like I said, this one's like different. It's like this is a black, was it like vintage heather? Yeah, it's kind of a blue. It was a cool looking shirt. So they got different colors. But they do all kinds of stuff. And like I said, I've told them that if people want to order them, to give me the portal. And so that's why I've got this here. So you can order those. They'll ship them to wherever. You may have to pay shipping. I don't know how much shipping will be. But yeah.
That big black and white logo on the back just screams like you're gonna sweat right there.
Yeah, that one. I've got some of them. Yeah, I like the ones without the background, but some of the colors they said that they had to put the background.
Right. Yeah, the darker ones it won't show as well.
So, but yeah. But there you go.
The Jack's asking, Clack, do you have Bigfoot sizes? You can order them here, and I think that was the problem last time I was there. Is he had these dainty sizes.
They've got me all the way up to 3X, I think. And she said they can get bigger ones because I know I did this last go around. Let me see if they've updated my sizes because I told them to give me some bigger sizes because, yeah, there we go, 5X. Now, the price is going to go up significantly if you get a 5X. I mean, naturally, the shirt requires, more material. But, yeah, she did take the orange ones all the way up to 5X now. Because we had that problem is there were some guys that the 2 and 3X weren't quite big enough for them. And so I asked her to add them and she said she would as long as they understood the price would go up. But right. Yeah. Nope. Yeah. And like I said, I don't make those. They make them. Like when I'm getting ready to go to an event, I'll call them and say, hey, I'll inventory my box and I'll be like, hey, make me this many, this many, this many. And that way I can take them. Or if I'm going to somewhere like an event, and people are pre-registering, a lot of times I'll ask for a t-shirt size. That way I can know that everybody that shows up, I'll have a shirt that fits them. But that's what I do. Because I give away a lot of stuff. I'm just going to be honest with you. Me and Steve are bad about giving stuff away. And I gave away the last meet and greet. I think I did the math after it was over with. It was like $350 worth of shirts and $8,000 something worth of machines. So I was like, wow. Now that was retail on the machines. They were slightly used because I had, machines that I had used. But that was retail, full retail price on the machines that I gave away. And the way we did it was we had a drawing And I had tokens. I made a special token for each machine that had like the name of the machine on the token and had all the tokens on the table. And so we had to draw and we spun the wheel. Whoever's name got pulled, they got to walk up to the table and pick up the token for the machine that they wanted. And it was freaking awesome because there were people up there like, oh, I don't know. Do I want this one or do I want this one? Or, you know what I mean? And then there was a couple of folks that after it was over with were over there like, they were thinking about swapping their tokens because at the end of the meet and greet, you had to come out to my trailer, which is where all the machines were, and redeem your token for your machine. And so there were some people trying to barter tokens like, hey, I'll trade you this token and give you $500, you know? So yeah, Knockboard said it was 30 people stayed for the drawing and 6 machines. I think that's about accurate. I loaded up everything that was in the shop that I wasn't using. But yeah, Knockboard said the wives were the super lucky. Maybe 6 women out of the 30 and 3 women won. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoy doing stuff like that though. Like I said, I like being able to give back to you guys because, like I said, if y'all weren't watching these goofy videos, it wouldn't be possible because the money that I use is money from, you know, doing this for this kind of stuff. But yeah, if you haven't ever checked out my website, go check it out. It's pretty neat. It's not very, I don't spend a lot of time with it, but there's some pretty cool stuff on here. Got some, you know, some cool pictures. I need to update. I need to put my alien on here now. But yeah, got some projects and stuff on here that I do. So yeah. And then my product review policy, if you ever want to read that, you can go read over that thing. And of course, my payment methods are all here also. That's for customers that like come pick stuff up or order something that don't necessarily get an invoice. They can do it there. Oh, did I show Liberty? Where's Liberty at? Liberty Bibberty. Woo! Liberty, check it out. Yeah. Yeah. Where's the Bigfoot? Show the Bigfoot.
Fictional characters.
Who do you think built the pyramids?
Math. Yeah. I don't know my light in the right spot to hit this, but there we go.
Yeah, you need to go. Hey, you need to put some more clear coat on that.
No, I like the natural. I don't like plastic looking wood.
Well, I didn't do anything to this except this is polyacrylic on the outside because I used
Danish oil.
I needed a glisten on mine to make it look better. But yeah, what I did is this is the Minwax, that white stain that Minwax makes.
Mm-hmm.
I basically painted it on with a paintbrush to get it like really thick so that it had that like graying look on the wood. And of course the eyes, that is straight up Walmart acrylic paint right there with a paintbrush. And then I mixed a little bit of the stain with some black to get like a gray for the lips. So yeah. And people say that CNC work ain't art. Look at that. And hey, the Genie bits did an excellent job. You can see even in the glare right there. I was a little worried that I was going to have a little like shadowing, some witness lines, but even with that gloss, no witness lines. Now, I did sand it though.
Yeah, this one. No, I since this was a raw slab. I mean, it's flattened and kiln dried, but there was still some variations. So I had to flatten it on both sides. I used the IDC 1.5 inch slab bit. That's the one I got. That made quick work of that once I got it dialed in for this machine. And then yeah, both Jenny bits, but yeah, it was like I say, 2.5 hours of the rough in clearing with a 1/4 inch bit, and then the 16th inch tapered bit for the finish with a 10% step over. That took 5.5 hours, but there was very little sanding. I had that, and I showed it in the short video. I have a dust mop. Let me go grab that really quick.
Yeah, I think this is the same flattening bit that you have. This one came from Liberty and them over there, if I'm not mistaken. It's a 1.5 inch
Yeah, that's it.
I had to learn how to use those when I first got into CNCing because it's not how you would. There's more to it than just driving it into the material and riding.
Yeah, setting up your file right for those. But this is what I use on a lot of interior corner sanding, and then for getting in, kind of smoothing out the detail stuff on here. It's called a sanding mop. And I think this is like 180 grit, and so it's basically just a bunch of sliced sandpaper.
You putting that on a drill or a CNC?
Well, no, I often have it on the drill press because then I can adjust the speed. But on this one, I just chucked it up into my 12-volt Milwaukee, and then you just kind of run it over there. But you get your tool pathing right, it definitely will cut down on the amount of sanding you need to do. So I'd rather have the machine do a little more work than me spend hours sanding. So.
Yeah, I use these little guys here, little bristly brushes. Now these just go in a drill. I got. Where's the other one? Okay, there's the other one. Like you can see which one I was using. So you got different. Like I said, you got different grits for whichever one you want to use.
Yep. But yeah, definitely fun outcome from those, but it's a patience thing. But the nice thing about the machine is you get it set up and going. You're just kind of passively paying attention to it. You know, you're listening to it, occasionally checking it. And, you know, I'll be over here working with something, or I was actually running the over there, the Creality Falcon A1 Pro.
Yeah.
And starting to test that one as well. So it's kind of nice to let the one machine work and be doing something else.
Yeah. But yeah, I have like I said, I got a selection of bits. I use mostly Cody's for a lot of the stuff, but like see the round over bit that I use, that's that one came from Garrett and them too.
Yep.
I don't use that as often because a lot of times it's just as quick to throw it over on the router table. But there are times to where I'm like, you know what, it's worth me to go ahead and chuck that thing in, go ahead and knock that round over pass off.
Yeah, I don't have any on hand right now, but there's these small, and I should make a video on this one. It's a small, like, round jewelry box that it's just small enough that it's kind of, it's a little sketchy doing it on a regular router to both inside and outside lip. So sometimes the router table or even the handheld router is the faster way to go with those, but not always.
And of course, this is my extras in case I break one. Of course, I got my main bits. You can see those sitting right there in my little bit holder. That bit holder's got it's the one I made. It's got the 1 through 14 on it for Cody's bits. But these are the extras because I do occasionally break a bit. Occasionally. It's usually when I do break one, though. Now, these are empty. Some of these are empty. A lot of these are just empty little holders, too. But, yeah, like, see, that's a little 1/8" O flute. And then I got my cheap bits over here for when I get a new machine in. Those are my speed tools. But, yeah.
Actually, I wonder.
And this is a piece of poplar that I milled on my sawmill, and I just used it to make a random bit holder. So, yeah. And I have more.
Bloop. There we go. Now it's better lit.
I want to know what the Bigfoot's doing. I know what it looks like he's doing.
Just sitting there watching.
Is he sitting? It looks like he ought to have a roll of paper in his hand. He looks like he might have a roll of paper or some paper towels in his hand.
He's on just this rock wall and he's just chilling, watching. But yeah, I was very impressed with the detail on this one. So
yeah, we were talking about earlier before I forget. We were talking about the grips. I ordered some grips off Amazon, and I don't know if they recognize the channel or what, but these are like literally, like I ordered blanks and these came with the blanks. I did not, and I went back and double checked my order to see if I accidentally bought them. I did not pay for these. I did not order these. These were not on my order. So when I ordered the blanks, I guess whoever it was recognized me and made this cool set right here. So when I do my video, I'm going to leave these boxed until I do my video. But I think that's pretty cool. It's got a laser engraved little medallion in the middle of them. So
they're cyber stalking you.
Yeah. So there you go. Zib. It's on Amazon. They're an Amazon seller. So I was shocked when they showed up. I'm like, what are these for? And I'm like, oh my gosh, did I order? I didn't remember ordering those. So I went back and looked, and it's not on my invoice. Kevin's asking, Steve, how did you get the smooth inside walls on that Bigfoot? Go ahead and explain it there, Steve.
So a lot of that is just getting the right feeds and speeds on your end mill and such. And like I said, I did take the 16th inch tapered ball nose and I dropped the step over down to 10%. Cody even says, even if you want real smooth finish, 8%. But then, like I say, using this just to kind of finish sand some things and where there might be some fuzzies and such. I probably ran this over it for 2 or 3 minutes, just kind of working into different details around the edges. So the combination of the two, taking more time, letting the machine have more time to do it, not rushing the machine through, giving it less step over to get the, the detail and less chip out and less fuzzy helps. And then, like I say, tools that help with just the detail sanding. Cause yeah, machine setup helps as well. If your machine isn't trammed right, you're going to start seeing more lines both in the grain and on walls and things like that. So spending the time to make sure everything's square with these machines really helps bring out in your projects less cleanup work. So
yeah, and especially with the 3D stuff too, a lot of times you have to pay attention to the grain and which way you're doing, when you're going with the grain or going against the grain, and it's a fiasco. I went way crazy with my step over. I think I did 6 or 4% on one I did. Now I ran the speeds up really, really high though. Like I didn't let no grass grow under it because I knew I'd left a 1 millimeter machine tolerances, and so I set it at a speed that I knew it could handle, and then as it started doing the 3D finish, I just bumped the speed up until I got it to where it was, the steppers and everything sounded good. It was making it looked smooth, and then I let it run it. So even though my preview time was like 8 or 9 hours, I think I actually did the 3D finish on this one in like 5 because I bumped the speed up so much, even with that really insane step over. But I meant I didn't want to have to do a whole lot of sanding. I had a few little places, which I think I found the issue. I think it was just poor maintenance on my part, but I managed to. I've been slowly getting my lubrication schedule worked out on my machine because I let it go. I used some materials on some places that I shouldn't have. I used grease where I should have used bearing oil. And then I use bearing oil in places where I should have used grease. And it's just, I'm having to figure out exactly what works best for this machine and for me. And I think I've got it nailed down to using, I've got some lithium grease that I'm using on the ball screws. And then I'm using the bearing oil on the linear rails. And I think that's where I'm going to stay. I don't think I'm going to be flirting with any other regiments because I done had a headache with all that. So.
Yeah.
Gray, I don't know if you heard or not. Biscuit decided to kick his rock on down the road somewhere about 2 weeks ago, I guess. He hadn't been back. So I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. He showed up here, stayed for a year, and then I guess he left again. None of the neighbors have seen him. We haven't found him hurt or anything like that anywhere. But he's, don't know where he's at. Maybe he shows back up. Who knows? I kind of got attached to the little sucker, but
yeah,
I don't know where he went. But unfortunately, with his like fur, the shock collar system that I use, it wouldn't work on him, and so it is what it is. Hopefully, Either he went and found him another house, went back to where he was from, because he come up here with a collar on, so we don't know where he came from. But maybe he either found his way back to his actual house or just decided he found somewhere else he liked.
So this actually happens to be 2-year anniversary when we brought home our latest pair of cats.
Yeah.
So Jeff's
That's old El Jefe.
Jeff and Pippin. Yeah, they're 2 years ago. As a matter of fact, let's see here if I can bring it up. Oh, no, that's the wrong thing. Clicking on the wrong stuff. There. This is them the day before we adopted them. So that's Jeff giving me the please, sir,
you can
take me home.
Yeah, he's like, dude, grab me and let's run.
Yeah. Yep. But I was 2 years ago today. So they're doing well, but they're afraid of the outdoors, so we shouldn't lose them.
Well, I have no shortage of cats around. Matter of fact, I need y'all keep an eye on my box. I want to let the cat get over in there, but I have no shortage of cats. But I may eventually try to get me another dog. Since Max passed away, I haven't really been, kind of looking for one.
Mm-hmm.
But I may eventually do it. But my female shepherd, Rogue, like she's 10 and a half now. So I really don't want a young puppy up here challenging her, messing with her, interfering with her. So for right now, we're just gonna rock with the one dog household unless another one shows up and won't go nowhere. But yeah. And then if something happens to Rogue, which eventually it will, because like I said, she's 10 and a half now. She's still in really good condition. Like you can tell she's old because she's grayed, but she still gets around good and does a good job. She stays in the house more than she does outside. So, but what in the world?
That's an updated photo of the two.
What do they got? Is that like a?
It's a cat tunnel thing. They can run through it, but yeah, they're doing a little stare down between each other there.
Oh. Apparently, Liberty said she got random cats again.
So a couple years ago, especially when I'd have the doors open, it was like every other week I'd have another random cat just walk into the shop and say, "Hey," and I'm like, "Okay, how's it going?"
Yeah.
But,
well, see, Rogue has been. It's spring, and German Shepherds do this thing in the spring where they attract other dogs, and so for about the past 5 days. You remember the dog Gravy that was running around with Biscuit that I just started calling him Gravy because he'd always come over here and run off with Biscuit? Well, he belongs to the neighbors down the street. And for about the past 5 days, he has lived here because Rogue was in the house and he really wanted to come hang out with her. So I called the neighbor and I'm like, hey, your dog has came to my house and he won't leave. And I know why. He's just doing what dogs do. But he did growl at me one day when I told him to get off my porch, and I was like, I don't want him to put me in a situation with my wife and kids that I have to hurt him. But so he got the dog, took it home with him, and it was like 15 minutes after he left our house. I look over and the dog is staring at me through the door, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So after that, I finally, we kind of just like, okay, if you're going to hang out here, we're at least going to make sure you're not mean. And after I petted him on the head, he was fine. He was running up there, laying his head in my lap while I was sitting on the porch and all this kind of stuff. So I wound up, we just let him hang out until Rogue got to the point to where she basically told him, you need to leave here. And so today, while me and Brandy were out here, I was showing Brandy some stuff. He was continuously stalking her and messing with her. And she finally had enough of it. And so she let him know that it was time for him to go home. And I guess he's went home. I haven't seen him lately.
Yeah.
So, but.
And this is why some of my videos take too long to edit.
Because you're catnapping.
Not me. He insists on sitting like right on my mouse pad where, my mouse needs to be. So
I'm surprised mine. They've probably been sneaking behind me and I just hadn't been seeing them. I'm surprised mine aren't all over the place. If Brandy walks in out here, they come out of the woodwork. Like, I'll be sitting here trying to make a video and I can hear them snoring because the cats sleep up there. I don't know if y'all know it or not. That's my little attic / storage area where I put things. And there's a ladder right there, but I have to move this table to get up there. But the cats use it to go up and down to get into the attic. And right on the other side of that black curtain right there is where I keep my air filter stuff at. And there's a box. So Fluffy likes to sleep on it. And then Callie and Tiger have a bunk bed that I made when I first started doing woodworking. I made them a bunk bed. It's got 2 bunks, and they sleep on the bunk bed. So,
all right. Well, we're about 10 minutes over.
Yeah. Yeah, Greg, they actually, Fluffy, I don't know if Fluffy caught it, because she's not the most athletic of my cats. But Fluffy was outside last night with a mouse. So that's the reason I let them stay in here, is because their hair gets everywhere. They're messy. Sometimes they make themselves sick, and it's not fun. But I don't have mice. I don't have squirrels. I don't have rodents. So I guess it's, at the end of the day, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But I was never a cat person. My youngest daughter was, and I let her talk me into getting them. And they were all 3 rescues. There are actually 4 of them, but we won't talk about the 4th one. He learned don't tease the German Shepherd.
Well, at least 2 of my boys are fairly allergic to dogs. So we had a Siberian Husky mix up until my oldest was about 5-ish, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, we found out after that some boys were allergic to them. So they've been kind of unfortunately not a thing for us. But I've had cats since I was really young. So they were.
Well, I don't mind cats as much now as I used to. Just, I don't know. I just didn't care for them. And the dogs that we had didn't really care for cats. Now, Rogue now has done got to where she's just like chill. Callie hangs out on the back porch as much as the dog does now. Max never, he never embraced cats. Like he did not like cats. Me and him were at work one night, and we were tracking a guy. This guy had beaten up his mom and run out the back door and ran off into the woods. And me and Max were in behind the house tracking for him, trying to find him. And we stopped after it was all over with, and we were sitting there talking to some folks in the driveway, and they had a cat, and it ran across the yard and like levitated and wrapped around his head and bit him on the ear, and he couldn't sling it off. Like it was, and after that, he hated cats. Like he couldn't stand them. And so I just couldn't break him from it. No matter what I did, he could not stand cats. And so, now that he's not around anymore, Rogue really doesn't care. She doesn't like them, but she's not as ill towards them. So it works out a little bit better.
I don't know if this is going to show very well, but because it's an old photo, but that's Dakota, our husky, and that was our cat Milo. So he didn't mind the cats. The cats didn't really care for him so much. But yeah, that's a better photo of him. But
see, that's what you need. You need a couple of sled dogs.
Yeah, well, like I say, kind of like my children to breed.
Yeah.
But anyhow, well.
All right, guys. Well, anybody got any questions, comments, concerns before we exit? Because it is 15 minutes past our exit time. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Like I said, I'll hopefully tomorrow I'll get the video out on this P2, because Tuesdays when they're supposed to show up for the storm shelter install, and I plan on getting some drone footage and some cool video of that. And like I said, I got the guy's already approved for me to do it. He actually encouraged it and was happy to allow me to record everything. So we're going to be making a video recording that progress and kind of helping him do a little local marketing as well, because he can use the video to, show people. So, yeah, that's all I got going on this week. Like I said, stay tuned for the P2 video, hopefully tomorrow. Yeah, Robbie said he's looking forward to it. Yeah, Robbie, it will definitely make you, if you're using the P2 to do tumblers, I think you're going to want to see it. So stay tuned, because it definitely made it a lot nicer, a lot easier.
Yeah, and I got my dust boom set up for this one now that I've done some of the dusty jobs, but be doing a few more on that and hopefully getting something out on that here pretty quickly. And then got some other things to jump into with projects, and got the whole Creality laser over there and such. So more to come. But if you want to see more kind of like sneak preview things with this, follow my Facebook/Instagram. I do kind of put like progress photos and little snippets over there, and then of course I try to drop some YouTube shorts along the way for the various projects. So if you want to see a little bit more, definitely follow those pages as well. But otherwise, primary content always goes here on YouTube. So
Yep. And one more thing before I go, if you're wanting to follow along with the storm shelter install, I'll be doing that over on the other channel. So this tonight weed down the laser, the shop stuff. Also, I've got pretty much everything that I'm supposed to be reviewing, looking at, all that, testing, all the stuff in the shop. Currently, I'm caught up, so I don't have any of that coming. But I do have another 3D scanner coming for later in the month, as well as I've got the Momotion robot lawnmower that I'm going to be looking at over on the other channel. And I'm probably going to do the robot lawnmower both. I'm probably going to do it at the other channel, and then maybe do some more over here as well on this channel. But yeah, if you haven't been following my new channel over there, it's not really shop stuff, but it's still pretty nerdy stuff, like robot lawnmowers, security cameras, stuff like that. But there's also some, tractors and stuff in there. So check that out.
occasional bees.
Yeah, honeybees. Oh, the honeybees will definitely be a thing, because I had one hive that I knew I was going to lose. They were like done in before fall got here, because it was swarms I'd caught. But I wound up losing one that I wasn't expecting to lose. So, but never fear. In the next 2 weeks, my phone will be blowing up. Hey, come get this swarm out of my fence or off the hood of my car, out of my mailbox. I'll be getting swarms here in the next couple of weeks. I just got to get ready for that. So
cool.
But anyway, until next time, y'all be safe. We'll be back next Sunday.
Next Sunday, same time, daylight savings time now.
Yeah. Yep. Make sure if you didn't set your clocks back, make sure you go do that now. We're reminding you.
Forward. Clocks forward.
Yeah.
Set your clocks back. You're probably just joining now going, why are they already on?
True. Or set them forward, whichever. I wish we'd just do away with that. But anyway, that's somebody else's decision. But y'all have a good one, and see you. And thanks for hanging out, Liberty. We'll see you later.
See you, everyone.